Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week from Rockdale, the Sunday edition. Let me say hi to some folks. Good evening, Mary Boysworth. Good evening, Charlotte Gellert. Hey, Dan Burks, nice to have you here tonight. Marie Withers, nice to have you. William Campbell, great to see you, William, Bill Campbell, and then Lisa Lancaster. Nice to have you on here tonight, Lisa. Hey, I want to apologize to everyone for this past Wednesday, the midweek report. So first, I go home. I had a long day at the office, and I'm sitting in my recliner, and I'm sitting there in my little dog Tucker Cox, and y'all all know Tucker Cox. He did the write-in candidacy for judge, and best we can know, he got like 12 votes. So I'm saying that Tucker is the dog judge in Rockdale County. So I think he was elected canine judge, and if there's any canine discrepancies or disputes in the county, then Tucker Cox will handle those. But so I was in my recliner, relaxing there around 6:30, 7 o'clock that evening. Next thing I know, it is like 9:30. So I slept through signing in and going live Wednesday night. So I apologize for that. So I dozed off in the recliner and woke up hours later. So I'm sorry about that, and we'll try not to let that happen again. But sometimes after a long day, it just gets comfortable in that recliner, and things happen. So I thank everybody for joining me tonight. I have a few other people that have joined. Good evening, Clayton Orwick. Good evening, Catherine Lynn. And good evening, Gail Davis Owens. Thanks for joining us tonight. For for joining us here on This Week from Rockdale, the Sunday edition. And as usual, it is great to have you guys here. And we're going to talk about a few things today. Tonight's show may be a little short because it's light on activities, but as usual, I think we got some good things to talk about. So we'll see what we can get done. First, I want to talk about county budgets. So good evening, CJ Lester. So Newton County this past week, their commissioners, they were going to have a special hearing regarding the proposed budget for the county. And lo and behold, two of the commissioners, Commissioner Cowan of District 3 and Commissioner Sanders of District 3, opposed to going any further with the discussion. They wanted the county manager to go back to the drawing board and try to cut the millage rate. So both District 5 commissioner and District 3 commissioners felt that with the possibility of an upcoming recession, that they really needed to look at what they were doing. A big portion of the increase in the budget in Newton County, just like we've done in Rockdale County, when Rockdale County implemented those 17% or so raises for our county employees, they paid this year's with ARPA funds, but next year they will have to to raise the millage rate here in Rockdale to actually maintain those salaries. I'll tell you what the millage rate is here in a little bit, CJ. I'm going to get through this, but I do have that millage rate information. So what they decided to do was they're going to talk about that this coming week, because they said go back to the drawing board and do something different. Well, the millage rate in Newton County is 11 point something. So, but they're looking at a significant increase in revenue because of the property values raising in the county. So if they just keep the millage rate at the same, I think it's $4 or $5 million in additional revenue they get just by keeping the same millage rate as last year and not lowering the rate. But both commissioners, Cowan and Sanders, both believe that Newton County should forecast what they think might happen with this looming recession and what that would mean. Commissioner Sanders even stated that she felt they should possibly reduce the amount that they are going to give the employees in a raise, so that if the recession does hit, then they would possibly not have to make as many layoffs at that time. So I think that's good forward thinking. So I think that they need to really look at what they're going to do, and I think Rockdale should take a little bit of a lesson from this about these commissioners in a neighboring county that are concerned about a looming recession and what that could mean for their tax collections, and with giving raises and looking at millage rate increases and what that looks like for the citizens. I commend those commissioners over in Newton County for having some foresight and thinking about the possibilities of what that could mean for their taxpayers. So in Rockdale County, I reached out before the show and talked to some citizens so I could get some information about what we thought was going to go on with our Rockdale here. So in Rockdale last year, we had our millage rate was set in middle to late August. So I think we can look at a similar kind of thing happening in Rockdale again this year. You can look at sometime in August, them talking about the budget and then holding the 3 mandatory hearings regarding the millage rate before they vote on it. The school board has set aside 15 total minutes on the 16th from 5:45 p.m. to 6 p.m. to discuss the budget. That's right, they have set aside a total of 15 minutes to discuss a $182 million budget. So you know what, guys, they're making sure that thing is going to be covered with a fine-tooth comb for the citizens of Rockdale County in public. They are going to give you 15 minutes of knowledge, just 15 minutes of just everything you need to know about the finances of the Rockdale County Board of Education. Can't go wrong with that, can you guys? That's what they're going to do. 15 minutes to talk about the budget. And and then those millage rate hearings, they don't last more than 5 or 10 minutes either, because you got 2 or 3 people speak. They speak 3 minutes and hit the gavel, call it a day. So that's what happens. I mean, so those are not going to be long either when those occur. So if the Board of Education has that 15-minute hearing on the budget in July, we can look at sometime in August, probably the first part of August. They will also have their 3 mandatory millage rate hearings also to set their millage rate. So, interesting things are going to happen here in Rockdale County in the near future. We will be setting those millage rates. And you got to remember, when the county sets theirs, guys, they've already made several things go in motion that those millage rates are going to increase this year. The PFA and the pending $110 million debt that we will be going into for a administrative courthouse building, that's not an iffy, that's not an if, maybe, whatever, that is a definite. That will happen. They got the PFA, they will go $110 million in debt. And you and I will be paying that. And whether it's millage rate disguised as property tax assessment increases, don't know. But those employee increases that ARPA paid this year, those will have to be funded next year by M&O. So you can look at that millage rate will be going up to compensate for that. Then also they're going to be adding additional employees. They have stated they are not going to, they are going to fund all vacant employees. They're going to fund all vacancies for the county. They will be funding all vacancies for the sheriff's department. That is millions and millions of dollars that they will be funding, not intending to use for the vacancies, but shifting in their budget to pay raises, bonuses, and other things, and being sneaky with it. But guys, in Rockdale County, not much you can do. You guys, the county spoke. They put the same people back in office. They approved the SPLOST. Uh, you know, um, Guys like me, other citizens, we tried to warn the electorate. We tried to warn the voters not to do some things. You were going to set yourself up for things, and that's what happened. So we've got an interesting time here coming up this summer in Rockdale County as our Board of Commission, our Board of Education, and the City of Conyers itself actually will be setting millage rates, and I predict they will all rise. They will all raise because they coming after you, people. They're coming after your dollars. They're coming after your hard-earned money because they're going to tax it once, tax it twice, tax it 3 times, tax it 4 times. That's what they're going to do. They're going to tax you when you're born and tax you when you die. That's what they do. That's what we do. That's what we do to ourselves best. We tax ourselves into oblivion. Guys, we've just got to wake up and get a touch of reality with some of this nonsense. We just can't continue down this path and down this road. So I think I've talked about that enough, and there's no use beating that dead horse. We'll beat that horse some more as these things come up. But what I want to talk to y'all about is the Dominion voting machines and DeKalb County. DeKalb County, this past election had some little bit of controversy. They had a Board of Commission race over there. It is District 2 Democrat primary. It's a Democrat commission seat, very safe. I don't even think a Republican ran in the primary. So they start off with on election day, they run the election. I don't want to go and throw this up here because I got some results to show you. So if you look at this, you'll see they start out on election day, and you get the results. And on election day, Alexander had 4,382 votes. Orson had 5,226, and Spears had 3,031. So Orson was in first place, Alexander in second, and Spears in third. So we go here to they start noticing in the interim that the votes aren't tabulating correctly. That something's not right with the tabulation. So they decide to do a hand count. So they do this hand count, and you see Alexander, when they do the hand count here on the first, has 4,737 votes. This Browser was a candidate who had withdrawn, and on the first one, they didn't show the votes. And somehow when they did a software update, it messed with the tabulations and didn't allow things to happen right. So, and it deleted not only Browser's votes, but it deleted votes from the other candidates. So you get this hand count, and Browser's got 133 votes on this June 1st hand recount. Now, Orson, who was in first place the day that the machines tabulated, gets 3,928 votes on this recount on June 1st and drops from first to third. And Spears, who was in third place with 3,031, jumps to first place with 6,651. So if people hadn't have noticed these discrepancies, number 1, who is really number 3, Alexander would have been in a runoff with Orson. So, I mean, guys, this is just, so, and Spears would have been left out on the, just outside looking in. So they did a final recount, a hand count on June the 3rd. And those recounts were, Alexander ended up with 4,878, Browser with 135, Orson with 4,032, and Spears 6,823. Now look at this, guys. 3,031 on the first day, 6,823 on the recount after that. I mean, it's just crazy. And I want to go here and show you something else. Okay, so if you look, you've got, they show us some numbers here. So that these are the recounts and everything. So on May 24th to June 1st, the difference is 2,810 votes. From June 1 to June 3rd, it's only a 419 vote difference. That's the difference between, that they did the hand count. And on May 24th to June 3rd, when they did the second hand recount, you see it's 3,229, but there's only 419 vote difference. And I think there was some military and different ballots that were added in on this June 1 and June 3rd hand count to increase the numbers. But just look at the number, the difference between this May 24th and this June 3rd. Dominion is safe and secure, folks. Dominion is safe and secure. Just remember that. You see it right here. And these are Democrats, guys. These Democrats are up in arms. They are protesting. They are demanding that Georgia go to paper ballots, just like Republicans have been demanding. So, you know, guys, just think about it. Your elections are safe and sound. And this all comes from the Secretary of State's office, Brad Rassenberger. Did some funny business. He recalibrated and recalculated, and he did some software updates 2 or 3 days before the election, and seemed to be something funny happened when they did that software and they didn't test it. So, you know, Brad won by 2%, just saying. Wonder if all that software update helped Brad get his little victory. Just saying, guys, you know what I mean? I think we ought to do a hand recount statewide with everything, seeing that this nonsense happened in DeKalb County. That's what I think. I think we should do a hand recount statewide. And I think we should do away with the Dominion machines, and we should have paper ballots, because not only are Republicans thinking we should do away with Dominion and doing paper ballots, Democrats are thinking the same thing, because they do not trust the Dominion machines and what outcomes that they produce. So just saying, everybody, we need to think long and hard about these Dominion machines and what they bring to the table, or what they don't bring to the table. So that's that little conversation. So now I'm going to talk about one more thing, and then we're going to get out of here early today. So this coming July 3rd, we will have the Red, White, and Boom Festival in Old Town Conyers. And it will be from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Now, they're going to have parking over at Parker Road. No, Alex, there are programming errors, but there were software updates that happened 2 to 3 days before. Then they did not verify anything. I do have that additional information, so not exactly agreeing that programming errors, is there were software updates that were 2 to 3 days before the elections. Everything was tabulating okay before the software updates occurred. But after the software updates occurred, there was no testing that occurred after these updates were that. So not certain that's accurate, because we've, you know, from what I've seen with some additional information, I think it's a little deeper than software updates. I mean, not from that. That may be, Alex, the quote from the Secretary of State's office, but we are aware that there was software updates 2 to 3 days before before Election Day, and so we, you know, it's very interesting. 2 to 3 days before, and there were software updates. So that we'll see if we can't get to the bottom of that. Like I said, Democrats are very upset about this. So I mean, got a question if, you know, they start tampering with the software 2 to 3 days before the election, and then what happens with the results? funny, fishy business. Yep, the Secretary of State is able to program those machines, Alex. We have found that out. That is accurate. So, Lord have mercy, help us all. A guy who's being running for office in a contested race in the primary and in the general election is able to update the software. As Alex just says on him, on the programming this machine is messing with the code. Yes, it is. So no, Charlotte, it was not because of redistricting here. So it had nothing to do with redistricting. No. So getting back to the Conyers Festival, they're going to have some off-site parking off of Parker Road, a couple locations. They're going to be offering shuttle service from like 5:30 to 10:30 that night. So you will be able to park over at Parker Road at 1400 Parker Road, and I think there's going to be another off-site parking facility over there at Parker off of Parker Road. So you'll be able to park over there and catch a shuttle from there to Old Town, because I think around 5 o'clock, a lot of the access roads in Old Town are going to be shut down. It'll be very interesting about that. So, but just let everybody know. Last year, the Republican Party had a booth. We will not have a booth this year, but members of the Rockdale Voter will be going around with clipboards and sheets that will be doing the petition for the asking for a forensic audit for the county. So you will be having individuals walking around with clipboards asking for signatures so that the requesting the county perform a forensic audit. So that's going to be happening. And this has actually been a really good event. I've enjoyed it the last few years. Dan Burks just makes maybe the last year for the festival. It will be interesting to see, because where they do have the majority of the people being able to sit and the festivities occur, that would be where a construction project would be going, and an area where the courthouse would be being built. So that's why, because of the construction of the new courthouse. Yes, Catherine Lynn, it would definitely hinder the space and availability and where people could actually view a fireworks show in Old Town. So we'll have to see what they would decide to do with that. Maybe move it to the horse park for a few years until whatever mess is cleaned up in Old Town. So we'll see what happens with all that. But this year we will be having it. The city did say that the festivities will be on July the 3rd, and then if inclement weather, stay tuned for sites from the county and the city. And if weather is an issue, that they would look at a reschedule. That tentatively July the 9th would be a rescheduled date for the fireworks. So just pay attention to all that. Like I said, that's coming up here in around a month from now, July the 3rd, Sunday, July the 3rd. So so that'll be very interesting. I'm looking forward to doing that. And I just hope everybody comes out, has a good time. Like Dan Burke said, could be the last time we have that in Old Town for a few years if we move forward with a construction project in Old Town. So guys, I told you I'm going to keep it short tonight. Thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and I will see you Wednesday, because I will not fall asleep and miss the midweek report this week. I'll set my alarm clock even to make sure, my phone to make sure if something like that won't happen. So thanks everybody, and I look forward to seeing you Wednesday on the midweek report. Thank you.